If I could fly like a bird, singing songs to the world, then I would. But here I am on the ground with troubles that I wish that I understood.
Hey everyone, I'm Quinn here for Unleashed Beauty, hanging out with Moriah Peters, a very talented Christian singer. So Moriah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I watched all your videos and stuff like that, and it seems like music is just something that is so in you. I would love to hear about when you feel music was a passion of yours, or when that whole thing began for you.
Yeah, I've been singing since I was 6, really was when I first started singing in my church. Except my voice, I had the nickname Froggy because my voice was very low like that. And it was just weird, like as I got older, my voice kind of raised a little bit more to where it is now. But I think I really took singing seriously after high school.
So not only are you musically talented, but I heard that you're also quite the scholar. I'd love for our Unleashed Beauty viewers to just hear about what it was like for you in high school and what your initial goals were.
From the time that I was really young, I always wanted to be an entertainment lawyer. And my dad is a judge, so I kind of had the expectation side on that end. And then my mom never had the opportunity to go to college, so I sort of had that expectation on that side as well. And I worked my whole life towards getting a scholarship, towards being able to go to college, and school and law school was my aim, was my goal, was my everything. And so it was really crazy when God started opening the doors in music, because I came to a fork in the road where it was like, okay, you can go to school, you can accept the scholarship that you have, and you can walk down that road of education and become an entertainment lawyer and do all of that you always pictured, or you can take this road that's less traveled, that is scarier, that is uncertain, and in the end, that was the road that I took. It was one of the hardest decisions that I've made in my whole life. I guess since I'm 20, it's like I haven't had too many of those kinds of decisions. So that has been an incredibly significant decision in my life, and has led me to where I am now, where I kind of get to have the best of both worlds.
Sure, yeah, and I mean, now you are this very talented singer, and you went through all these processes to get there, and I mean, you auditioned for American Idol and everything. Like, how was that whole process? Because that wasn't even originally your idea, was it?
No.
That's so funny.
Well, that's when the whole music thing started really taking off, where I knew that I had to make a conscious decision between school and music. Was after high school, when I auditioned for American Idol, and I was actually going through the auditioning process as I was, preparing for finals and getting ready for graduation, and that was an interesting experience. God totally used it to close the doors where they needed to be closed and open them in Christian music. And it was through American Idol that I met a family who introduced me to a woman by the name of Wendy Green, who is like my sweet southern mama over there in Tennessee. And she introduced me to my labels, to my management, and she's just an amazing woman. But that all started through American Idol.
That's crazy, because that's such a big jump from career paths.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But did you feel like you really learned anything about yourself from going through that process and figuring out that you wanted to be in Christian music?
Yes, absolutely. I originally had thought a lot about, okay, what kind of music do I want to do? What kind of path do I want to go down? And I prayed a lot, God, show me if you want me to be intentional about being a light in the darkness and doing secular music, but doing it in a way where it's still honoring to you, or do you want me to build the church, so to speak? And I remember praying about that a lot, and God just giving me a scripture that basically says, like, if you speak intelligibly, who is to understand what you're saying? Basically saying, like, if you try and be all poetic about who I am, like, I think God definitely uses those kinds of poetic lyrics to really draw people in, but specifically for me, I know that He was calling me to speak plainly and clearly about the gospel message, which is why I went with I Choose Jesus for my first single and for the album title.
Yeah, definitely, because it just seems like you were so meant to do this that basically, like, after you said no to American Idol because you wanted to be strong in your convictions as a Christian, and then you go to Nashville, and then all these other doors open that it's totally unheard of. Like, you usually hear about people just, like, you know, beating door after door, but, you know, just everybody wanted you just because you were so talented. I'd love to hear more about that experience.
Yes, and honestly, that is a compliment, thank you, but honestly, I feel like it had nothing to do with my talent, and it had nothing to do with my abilities. I think it had everything to do with God's will, because I prayed specifically before going to Nashville. I got down, I remember I was in my room, and I got down on my knees, and I was praying, and I said, God, you know my heart. You know that I love music, but you know that I'm scared. You know that I want to do school, that I've worked my whole life for this. And to be honest, God, I'm not going to do music unless you make it so clear to me. So just make it clear that this is what you want me to do. And when I moved to Nashville, I hadn't officially moved. I just went for another, 2-week time period. And when I got there, I had 5 label meetings, and all of the labels showed interest, and in the end all of them wanted to make offers, and it came down to having to make a choice with my family, with my manager, which label we were going to go with, which is absolutely unheard of, especially for a girl who was 16 at the time, coming to Nashville, had 3 songs under my belt. A lot of artists come to Nashville with a lot more talent than that. They've got a whole bunch of songs written, they've got a following. I didn't even have a Twitter account, okay? So it was definitely one of those miraculous experiences.
Definitely. But obviously God had his hand all over that, and I feel like people can really feel it through your music that you're just a genuine person, like with your song I Choose Jesus, where it talks about being strong in your convictions and that strength and stuff that you inspired people to be as a Christian. So what was that songwriting process for you? How did that whole thing come about?
Yeah, songwriting was amazing, and I feel like I'm still growing as a songwriter and will continue to grow, which I'm so happy about. But for this first record, for I Choose Jesus, every single song came from a specific story or experience in my life. And I Choose Jesus came from an experience that I had my senior year of high school, where I was one of very few Christians in the classroom. It was a public high school, and my teacher was an outspoken atheist, an absolute genius, and he still has my respect to this day because he really challenged me about my faith. And it did come to the point where I had been asked so many questions by my classmates and by my professor that I realized that my faith was built on sinking sand, that it was built on an emotional experience that I had in the 6th grade. And as beautiful as that time was, I knew that this was God's moment for me to really see what my faith was built upon. And so I remember I came to a point where I was sitting out in my backyard on my balcony looking up at the stars, acting like I was Selena in a movie. And I was just praying, and I said, God, I don't even know if you're real right now. Like, you don't make sense to me. But I'm going to choose to follow you, and I'm going to choose to really seek you and to seek the truth. And that was sort of the beginning of my faith journey. And I kind of geek out over like history and archaeological findings and science and all those things. And so for me, it was just as simple as doing research, reading books such as The Case for the Creator by Lee Strobel or Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, and reading books like that, and just looking into the history of the Old Testament and the findings that we have today and prophecy being fulfilled. Like, it made me realize, wow, this is so much more than just a fairy tale, than just a fantasy that so many people try and paint this out to be. So I wanted to make sure that I had a song that described that experience, but that also would encourage people like you, people like my friends, to really seek the truth and to be bold and to not sit on the fence about things, because you and I both know that we live in a world that is constantly telling you to believe in this, telling you to believe in that, and is outspoken and bold about what you are to stand for, what you are to be tolerant towards. and now's not the time to be like wishy-washy about things. So I wanted to make sure that I had a song that said that.
Yeah, no, and it totally does, and you can totally feel that same vibe throughout every single one of your songs. And I love that one, that haven't been kissed.
Oh, haven't even
kissed. Yeah, that was so funny because you see like so many teenagers nowadays just being not that way at all, to say the least. And you're definitely in a role model position and stuff like that, and teaching young girls about purity and all that. So I'd love for our viewers to hear more about your song and how you wrote that.
Yeah, Haven't Even Kissed was, that's to this day one of my favorite songs to sing and to perform live and to talk about, because I think it's important. I think purity is an interesting topic. I think when a lot of girls hear that word, the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, a ring, don't have sex until marriage, which is great and fantastic, and I am a huge advocate for those things. But for me, I wanted to share my heart in a more personal way, in that when I was about 14 years old, I felt like God was telling me to save my first kiss until I got married. And at the time it was like, easy, done, okay, great. And as I was meeting different guys and developing different friendships, anytime I would tell a guy, hey, so I really like you, but I want to save my first kiss until marriage, and they're like, peace. I was like, well, dang it, it's not working. But I think it was great because it was a way to sort of test the hearts of man, And but now that I'm in my first relationship ever, he's amazing, and he is what I call an and guy, not a but guy. And I always like to share this at my shows. I say, I for a long time was interested in a lot of but guys, meaning oh, this guy's great, he's so cute, he plays basketball, but he doesn't have a walk with the Lord. Or, oh, this guy, he wrote me a poem, he is precious, but he doesn't really have standards of purity like the Bible teaches. And so those were always but guys. But now I have an and guy. My boyfriend is, he's amazing. He sings, he's musical, and he loves the Lord. He's Australian, he's good looking, and he accepts and works with these standards of purity that I already have, and wants to create new ones with me. And it's like, it's so amazing to see that there are guys out there. There are guys out there that want to, that they have standards of purity of their own, and they want to create new ones with that special woman that God has for them. So not kissing is nowhere in the Bible. It's not a command, and so that's just something that personally I have a conviction about. But I always try and encourage girls and guys, pray and ask God specifically, what are the lines that you want me to draw in the sand? And if we stay by those lines for our own protection, God will just keep us under this bubble of just protection, and in that protection, I feel like there's so much joy and so much excitement and so many new things to experience, and it just becomes a fun time in somebody's life, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, that's a great message to share with everybody, that girls don't have to settle, that they can wait, and that there are guys out there, and just because it's not apparent at the moment, they don't have to settle for what they think is the best that they can get. So that's definitely a testament to that.
And that too. Little bracelet.
Anyways, just you've had so much success and everything like that, and now you're getting you're opening for people and having more touring experience and writing more songs. I would just love to hear what's next for you, and I'm sure our viewers all would too.
Yes. Okay. I'm really excited. I am leaving to Nashville this weekend, and I am going to go out on tour with a band called For King and Country, and another band called Brett Walker Band.
Yeah.
And those guys are both amazing. I know them both so well, and I'm really excited to go on tour with them for a little bit. So look on my Facebook page or my website to find some dates and cities that are near you. Then after that, next year I've got a really exciting tour that I'm going to be going on, and it's with a band that I have looked up to from the time that I was really young, and they keep the gospel at the center of their message and their music, and they're incredible. But stay tuned and look for dates on that as well.
Yes. So what advice do you have for our girls at Unleashed Beauty?
Well, I think as a female, we have very unique relationships with God, something different than any guy has. And I think it's because it's a father-daughter relationship. I know that for me, I've been blessed beyond measure by the dad that I have. He is amazing. He's dated me from the time that I was young, would open doors for me, pay for my meals, talk to me, love on me. And I know that I'm really blessed to have that, and maybe some of you are as well. But for those of you who don't have fathers here who are present in your life, who are loving you with Christ's love, I want to encourage you to look at God and let Him become your sweet Father, your sweet Jesus, as a lot of women have put it to me in my life. That He is a Father that loves you unconditionally, that thinks you are absolutely beautiful, and who wants to pursue you and who wants the best for you. And dive into His Word, dive into His love letter for you, and memorize His promises that He created you before time and knit you in your mother's womb, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I pray that in your life that you will find security and hope in the fact that you have a Father that loves you no matter what you've done, and that He is waiting there, no shame, and He's waiting there to just love you and accept you where you are. So that's the message for you guys. Thank you, Unleashed Beauty, for having me. And you guys, I love what you guys do.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I have like chills after that. That was so great. So where can we find you? We'd love to follow you on Twitter or whatever.
Yes.
Where can we find you?
Twitter is at Moriah Peters. That's MORIAH. Facebook is Moriah Music, and my website is MoriahPeters.com.
That's so awesome. So make sure everybody go check that out. And also please make sure to like our Unleashed Beauty Facebook page at Unleashed Beauty Magazine. Thanks so much, guys, and thank you.
Thank you, Quinn.
Bye.